Well, hi. So, came out to a soccer field. There's no game happening here. I'm actually out at some place called Deemer Park, I think. Yep, Deemer Park. There's actually a lot of sport fields around here. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like 8 different soccer fields around here, and I think a couple of them get used for hockey. But yeah, I got a bug in my eye on the bike right here. But anyways, so I figured I've gotten one comment, so we're gonna bring up that person, because shout out to that. The comment is wrong YouTube app. It's Michelle King Hart, most likely one of her kids. A lot of people use their mom's account on YouTube to comment on my football. It says game day armor, play hard rock on. Awesome. It's possible there are women's leagues in the States, but not that much. But yeah, so that's pretty much it in terms of football comments. I did have a comment a while back, and the person finally got back to me on Instagram, and I had a long conversation with them. And I figured I'd make today's video kind of about that. I'm not naming, I'm not going to name you because, it feels like dragging. But basically, it boils down to, like, the initial question, which seemed a little offensive. It was like, so, it's like, where are you from? What do you mean, where am I from? I never know how to answer that question because people mean it in different ways. So I always clarify. I'm like, do you mean where I was born or where I'm living? And even in Dutch, it applies that way. Come out is the thing. Where do you come out of? Ik kom out Amerika. I'm from America. Ik kom out Zeebrugge Eiland. But you'd probably say ik wonen op Zeebrugge Eiland. Anyways, I'm getting distracted from football. I always re-clarify. And anyway, so the person's like, so why are you overseas if it's, so much better in the States? And I was like, why? And that's the thing is, I was like, why do you think it's better in the States? And my question basically goes, and what I'm going to say is, why am I here? Well, it's not objectively better. I understand that in the United States, you're able to go to college football and then, you go on to NFL because NCAA is basically NFL D-League at this point. And so, you've got that, and you're looking at a bunch of stuff, and it's like, well, if it's not that competitive over there, I'm like, it's competitive, but the thing is, I did not go to high school football. I did not go to college football. I did not play youth football. I started in semi-pro. Just like More Than Football is saying, oh, it's semi-pro football. I started in semi-pro football, and now I'm here. Because semi-pro football and what European football teams do are really similar. The teams I was on over in the States, we practice on grass, we practiced in parks. A few teams we actually practice at the local field. But, like it was Hare Field for the Pit Bulls. But when I was on the Cobras, we practiced on any old area that would support us, and not kick us off right away. I practiced with Willie at a lot of the high schools because there wasn't rules about that. We weren't in pads. We weren't doing it. We just wore cleats and stuff. And the States has a lot of turf. Here has a lot of turf, but not for American football. The American football clubs, yeah, are poor overall. At least in the Netherlands and, Belgium. But like, if you want to have a nice field, you're going to co-op. You're going to play it with other clubs, like rugby clubs or hockey clubs or football clubs. The issue is you have to line the field for American football. Whereas you can kind of multi-line the field for soccer and lacrosse and hockey and stuff. You can't really line it for American football. You can kind of get past that with a little bit of rugby. The fields are about the same size, but But yeah, it's not very great. The few teams that here in the Netherlands do have it are like the Amsterdam Crusaders and the Arnhem Falcons. They have their own fields that are turf. Everybody else pretty much has their own field, that, you know. Okay, Utrecht. But that's the thing. I didn't grow up in school sports. I grew up in club sports. For a lot of people that do football YouTube in the States out there that say they're in semi-pro, you're club sports. That's exactly what it is here. You pay a fee, you do your stuff, and you play on a field with a bunch of guys. So if I'm going to be in the States, and I'm going to be in Europe, and I'm going to be doing the exact same thing in either place, and I have no room much for advancement except for bettering myself as a person, as a player, well, I'm going to be it here. Because here I get to experience multiple cultures. I get to be drowned in another language. Yeah, they speak English here, but I got to be able to read signs. I mean, there's none around here, but, you know, all the caution signs are in Dutch. You know, especially around Corona stuff. I got to know what how afstand means. You know, it just means keep distance, but, I mean, you got to know that. You got to... And like on top of that one is I take the train every day across the countryside to go to practice, you know, all that time. I go to a whole other city. To be fair, on the Cobras I did too, but I drove an hour, you know, and my teammates here are like, you drove an hour to go to practice? I was like, yeah, it was only like once a week. I mean, I would have done it twice a week, but more than that, it would have been a little excessive on gas, even with a Prius. And they're just absolutely floored that I went any more than about five minutes in a car to go to practice. Soccer kids are showing up. But anyways, you know, and in the last little bit, like, okay, so let's say I'm in Oregon and I'm still playing for a team that's there. I don't know what teams are in existence around Portland right now. Willie is now moving on with his life and isn't in football, so I don't know anymore. But I would go to Washington State and I'd stay in Oregon. Here I've been to France. I've played games in Germany.
Yeah, well, you'll find some things, definitely.
Obvious. He's German. Wouldn't expect.
And that's fair.
Huh?
And that's fair. There's always something to work on, right? So.
Yeah, if you don't have something to work on, be worried. Yeah, I played games in Belgium, in France, in here. I played at an international tournament in France called the Atlantic Cup. You know, and there was a Romanian team there. So I've met... And the only thing I really remember out of the Romanian team is, well, one, there was actually an import player there, Stan Bedwell, and they actually watched my YouTube videos. And that's fun. But, like, one of the guys was, like, super drunk the night they flew in to Paris, and he was like, Puntanel, Puntanel, Puntanel. And, like, I looked at him, I'm like, what is he saying? They're like, I don't know. Like, they didn't know what he was saying because he was saying... He was saying .nl in Dutch, .nl. That's their internet code. Amazon, .nl. Bol.com, well, whatever. But Amsterdam, .nl. It's like, that's just, that's the Dutch suffix. You know, you hear the .co.uk, .de, Amazon.de, that's Germany. So that's all he was saying is .nl, .nl. And I'm like, what? You're so drunk. And here the guys start from a youth program or they start when they're 18 and they're so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and they want to play the sport. Whereas a lot of the guys, and if Willie were here, he'd kind of back me up on this one. A lot of guys go into semi-pro after high school because they just didn't make it. And they're trying to relive some glory. A lot of people, a few guys on my teams actually did play college. D3, D2, there's a couple D1 guys, but they put their education first and a job, and then they still want to play because they're still like, you know, they're like 24 and they're like, I don't really want to go to the NFL. I want to become a graphic designer. So they're a graphic designer and they come out and play football on the weekends. Doesn't that sound cool? But, you know, and that's what's here. Like Mitchell works in construction. Sophion is going to school for, you know, physiotherapy and, you know, athletics, I think. Business management. That's right, he's for business management. But like, anyways, oh, they're running a lap. I will catch you guys here in a little bit. I need to reorganize thoughts. I guess after thinking about it for so long, I just was like, you know what? I guess all I can say is, if you don't understand why I'm playing football in Europe, why I prefer Europe over the United States, I don't know. Keep watching this channel. Go look at some of my other videos that are all football related. They're real people. They like playing football. They like doing the exact same things you're watching the videos for. Does that make them less? And if it does, maybe you should ask yourself why it makes them less. Does it make me less? Because I'm not doing it in America? I don't know. It's kind of a weirdly existential question, but I mean, it's sort of like, why Europe instead of the States? Why not? Got a lot of bonuses here for doing pretty much the same thing in the States. Like I said, I wasn't going to go anywhere in semi-pro. Most people aren't. Might as well do it in Europe. At least here I can win a national championship.